Hey, welcome back to the 10 Talk. And as you know from the title, I got COVID. So I'm just thanking the Lord, hey, here it is almost 3 years into this thing, and this is the first time I've gotten it. So, just a little bit about myself coming into catching this. I'm over 60 years old, I'm 61 years old. I am unvaccinated. I am on a religious exemption for that. I don't agree with particularly using aborted babies to either manufacture or in the testing of it. So I'm not going to go into that. That's not what this is about. That's where I'm at coming into this. So I just wanted on this one, I just kind of wanted to share my experience of how I ended up catching this. As far as we could tell, this originally came from our son. He came home and he kind of had sniffles and sneezing and all that. And, being a young person, he doesn't want to be sick or be slowed down from doing things that he wants to do by being sick. So usually it is that he has allergies. He's got allergies, but then it came, a couple days in, 1 or 2 days in, he couldn't deny it anymore. He was feeling sick. So he was down for like a day or two, got stir crazy, and as usual, saying that he felt better, so went out skateboarding. Never really looked back from there, but you could tell he wasn't fully over whatever it was that he had, because he was coughing and had congestion in his chest and was coughing up phlegm, spitting out phlegm. So from there, Jennifer got sick, and she pretty much knew right away. Pretty much had a good idea. Oh, here's Oreo. Hey, Oreo. There's Oreo. Say hi to everybody, Oreo. She's everybody. She's been our buddy while we've been sick. She's just been hanging out, and she's everybody's best friend. So she pretty much knew from the beginning, because she had the same thing that she had. Figured she got it from Matt. Way back in 2019 or something like that, before we even really knew what COVID was. But then looking back, she goes, I bet you that's what I had back then, after she had it, once it started becoming a big thing. So this time, it pretty much was the same thing this time, where she was pretty sick and down for a while the first time, for like a couple of weeks before she really felt fully recovered from it. And so she got sick this time, and so I was really trying to help her out, trying to do everything I could, and still working, and staying up late, trying to do thing as much as I could, so that she wouldn't have to do anything while I was at work. So I was not getting that much sleep. I was working late into the night, doing things in the morning, trying to take care of her and take care of things, and then working, probably running myself down, because during it I would say, oh yeah, I think I'm going to be right behind you, because I started feeling like, how you feel when something may be coming on, maybe a little bit of feel like a scratchy throat wants to start, and I would feel that, and then it would be like the next day, like, I don't feel anything. I guess maybe not. So that happened like 3 or 4 times during this process, and it's like, wow, I'm just gonna get through this and not really catch it. Today is Saturday, so last Tuesday night, I started feeling like, I think I may be getting something here. I think, I'm starting to not feel right. And then the next day, I was still not feeling right. Wasn't sure what was going on, if I was really going to get sick this time or not. And through the day, I just went through work, and it was started, I think it was the start of a fever because my head kind of had a little low throbbing and aching. And it was weird because, like, in my work car, I'm pretty much by myself most of the day in the work car. And whenever I would turn around to get my clipboard or something out of the back, it would like kind of get a little dizzy kind of feeling. And that was kind of weird. I was starting to feel a little tired and drained down. And of course, that day there were a lot of other people out, so I had to take on some extra work. So I ended up having to work an extra hour and a half that day. But it just kind of maintained during that day. It was not feeling well, not feeling right, and thankfully it didn't get worse during the day. But once I got home that night, the fever hit, and I got the chills and the body aches and all that kind of stuff that comes with the fever. Kind of felt like a lot of it kind of felt like the flu basically. So I was freezing and getting the body ache. So I got in bed, and it was kind of hard to sleep because I had to keep moving around because of the body aches that I was having. And it was just uncomfortable to stay in a position for any length of time. And it was one of the really strange things about it was that as I was getting the body aches, it was like it was a bunch of these injuries, past injuries in my body, my back, my hips, my hamstring, my shoulders. It seemed like those old injuries were like coming back fresh. And one of the weirdest ones was my hamstring, because I had pulled my hamstring a lot of years back, and it just didn't seem like it was ever going to go away. But over the last number of years, I haven't had any issue with it. I felt like, wow, hey, cool, it's gone, it went away. But during that time, it was like it was fresh again. It was like, wow, this is weird. I've got all these old injuries kind of coming back on me with this. And I wasn't really sure what it was, if like COVID is this attack on this body, this unknown attack. Our bodies, which is amazing that, this unknown thing that our bodies have never dealt with before, where God designed us, where our bodies will attack it and develop antibodies and attack and destroy it. It's really amazing how God designed us. But it's almost like everything in the body is coming after this foreign invader, and allows other things to not be held in check, which kind of makes me think, the biggest number of people, the deaths that are called COVID deaths, are from pre-existing conditions. And is it because the body is just like going so strongly after this foreign virus invader in the body that it kind of stops keeping the other things in check and they can rise up? I don't know. It kind of seemed, that was weird. I'm feeling these old injuries. After that, the whole next day, I still kind of had a fever and chills and aches and not feeling good. And then the next night, which would have been, Friday, one of the things that my wife and I do to keep sore throats away is we'll cover our heads with our blankets at night. And I hadn't been doing that, so I really hadn't gotten a sore throat, which I'm notorious for getting sore throats when I get sick. And then we open our house at night to cool it off and not have to use the air conditioner as much. We've got the fans going, so I'm thinking that I was breathing in a lot of dry air and possibly snoring and all that. And so then I ended up getting a sore throat last night, so I decided to do the cover over the head thing. And I'd been kind of sweating out at night, thinking that I'm getting rid of some toxins. But last night when I had my head covered, man, I sweat up a storm. I got up in the morning and my t-shirt felt like I had jumped in a swimming pool with it. It was drenched. It was soaking wet. and the bed was so wet because I wanted to get up and get a drink of water, which obviously I was probably thirsty because I had been sweating so much. But after I got some water, came back, I couldn't get back in bed because the bed was so wet, so I had to lay down a towel to lay on to be able to get some more rest. I still have my sore throat today. A couple of things that I've been doing. I really, with all this research on COVID, I've been looking into, did some research on hydrogen peroxide. So I started gargling with hydrogen peroxide from the beginning when I started feeling sick to try to kill it off in my throat and my mouth and not let it get down in my chest. And I've coughed up some phlegm stuff but really hasn't gotten in my chest all that much. And I think that may be from, gargling with the hydrogen peroxide, keeping so many germs from going down into my chest on that. So I do that, and then whenever I brush my teeth, I always rinse with salt water. So rather than like Listerine or anything like that. So I was doing those two things to keep the germs at bay in my mouth and going down into my body. Today I feel quite a bit better. Oh yeah, and last night I did take ibuprofen because I knew with these body aches it was keeping me from sleeping, and that I took 3 ibuprofens. That really helped out a lot. Took out body pains. My back wasn't hurting as much this morning. I was able to sleep better. Of course, sweat out a ton. I feel quite a bit better today, which I thank the Lord for that. I don't want to, and I don't think anybody does. Nobody wants to get sick with anything. It's not fun being sick, no matter what you had. Whether it's a cold, the flu, COVID. It's just not fun getting sick. But I think since I did, it's a good thing because I've been doing all this research on COVID. As I mentioned, their origins and all that kind of stuff, to actually experience it myself and see what it's like, over 60, unvaccinated, and all this kind of stuff, where it seemed like I really felt bad at first, like the flu, basically, the first night. And then it got a little better. My fever went down 2 full days, and then going toward the 3rd day, I feel a lot better. I feel a lot better. And I thank God for that, I thank God for the way He made our bodies, that we develop those antibodies and our bodies fight infection like that. It's just like an amazing thing that God did that. But anyway, that's where I am at right now. My experience, which will work good into my studies and research into the whole COVID thing. Anyway, I'll probably have some updates on that. Like I said, I'll probably try to do a video on what I've found in my research. It might get deleted, might get banned, censored, and taken down. I may end up with a strike on YouTube. I don't know, but they just do not seem to like anything that goes against the official state narrative, which is really should be a scary thing for everybody. I mean, that's what all totalitarian governments do. Anyway, I'm feeling much better today. I know I've got a little ways to go. Still need to get my energy back, but after 2 full days, I have really made a lot of progress in being able to feel better. So anyway, this has gone really long here. I just kind of wanted to share my experience. So God bless you guys. See you on the next 10 Talk.